Hi everybody, this is Noelle at Petitti's and we're here at Oakwood Village and it is fall and we wanted to do some fun fall planters for you, and we use things like pumpkins. So we're going to go through all the steps that you need for your fall container gardening and show you some really cool plants. So to start off with, I wanted to show you it's very easy to decorate with fall items like pumpkins. You can take some of the flatter pumpkins, which we call Cinderella type pumpkins, but they're kind of a French pumpkin, flatter, stack them up, larger on the bottom, medium size on the top, and then I took this really cute lemon colored pie pumpkin to place right on the top. So you can stack with pumpkins out there on the front porch or deck or patio, wherever you want some fall color. I wanted to start out with first showing you a cool little craft that I think we picked up on Pinterest a long time ago, but it is using some of the flatter pumpkins. They tend to have, and if I move this off, they tend to have a nice kind of indentation at the top where the stem is. So what you can do is use this very small indented area for plant material like succulents that don't need a lot of water, okay, but can still take the heat and the drought that we get sometimes late summer into fall, and sometimes we get those Indian summers as well. So what we did is we took a white pumpkin. It had a really nice indentation in the top, and then I picked a few different succulents. I have an earth star here, I have a string of dolphins here, and then I also have one of kind of the chunky aloe family, the petite aloes here. And what I did is I basically removed a lot of the soil, and you'll see it in the video, and just kind of placed them gently around in that indentation. Then what I did is I just tried to pack in the soil, most of the roots that were on the plant materials, try to kind of mound it, pack it in, and then I just moistened some moss here. This is deer moss, and I moistened some moss and I just placed it around to cover up the soil and kind of keep that moisture in the soil. Now, when you are putting this pumpkin on display, make sure that you're putting it underneath a covered porch or area where it's still getting sun. Those plants will do fine, but you don't want the rain or any irrigation to fall on it, or it will just wipe everything out. So do remember with these guys, keep them under cover, but they will do a very nice job of decorating your pumpkins for you and just look marvelous until we get pretty late into the fall. Typically, most of your succulents can take 1, 2, 3 decent frosts, and then you'll have to start thinking about bringing them in, which you can because they all make great house plants. Put them in a nice bright window, keep them on the drier side of watering, and they'll do perfectly fine for you. The next one is we actually took 2 different types of pumpkins. I have a carving pumpkin here, just kind of a medium-sized Howden or carving pumpkin, orange pumpkin that we hollowed out. And I liked it because it was sort of egg-shaped, oblong, kind of a strange shape for a carving pumpkin. So I decided to let it stay on its side and carve out the top side of it. Then just fill it up with soil. You can rinse these out and rinse them in a 10% bleach solution, which does help a little bit cut down some of the fungal growth that can develop inside the pumpkin, as you know. And really the pumpkin planters are good for about, let's say about 2 to 3 weeks out in warm weather. They're gonna obviously kind of decompose a lot faster. So it's nice when it gets cooler. So needless to say, go ahead and fill with soil and then fill with some of your favorite fall plants. We have this lovely, beautiful kale kind of upright here. It's a red kale. We also have a beautiful antique rose pansy. This is one of Taylor's favorites. And then I decided to bring in the herbs because there are so many great herbs that look awesome in fall, will continue to perform very, very well in containers for you. This is actually woolly thyme. So it kind of gives that pumpkin a nice kind of hairy, fuzzy feel to it, but it makes a great spiller. So your kale's your thriller, your pansies your filler, and then of course your woolly thyme's your spiller. So that looks great in that little combination. You can also hollow out smaller pie pumpkins if you want to. And then we just popped in this beautiful SuperCal petunia. Again, these are the petunias that we've had really good success lasting much longer into the fall season because they tend to be a little bit more cold tolerant than many of the other types of annuals out there. I sort of wrapped around the red stem pilea. This is a cool little sort of succulent plant that you can grow inside as a house plant. Sort of divided it up, threw it in there. Believe me, at every node pilea roots, so it's probably going to root in that soil. And then just added a stake to the top of the pumpkin and just kind of put it in there for just a finishing touch on this white planter. So again, planting it in pumpkins is really easy. You can pop some drainage holes in the bottom if you want to. Just again, try not to water them too heavily. Keep the water at a minimum. And also it does help, again, just like this white pumpkin, if they're under an overhang or a porch cover or what have you, that'll help reduce the water that gets into those pumpkins that could eventually kind of wash out some of the plant material. So do be aware of that. The last one is if you don't have a real pumpkin, or maybe carving out pumpkins is not your thing. There's many people that don't like to carve them. So needless to say, you could use just a ceramic planter. It's fun because, of course, if you're not feeling like Halloween, you can, of course, turn it around to the back side and just have a cute little ceramic pumpkin. Or, of course, you can have the jack-o'-lantern face on the front here. We decided to plant it with this beautiful rush grass. This is blue arrows, and it's such a cool plant. We use this as a thriller in annual plantings, of course, but it looks great, and it's just starting to turn that weedy color for the fall. So we love it as the thriller in this container. We decided to throw your typical fall mum. So of course, fall mums come in all different colors, shapes, and sizes, but they lend themselves great for container gardening at this time of year. Adding a little bit of purple color with the cute little viola here. Again, cooler season. As we get cooler into the fall season, the violas, the pansies, the kale, and the cabbage are really going to color up very, very nicely and kind of hold very nicely. When it's hotter here during the fall time, they kind of, if you will, bloom out quickly and sort of wilt a little bit faster. So just keep your eye on the moisture level in the soil, as well as the fall mum too. So the hotter it is, the faster it's going to bloom out. I always suggest selecting your fall mums that are nice and budded, about 75% budded, so you do have longevity as far as flowering with your mums, so you can enjoy it. And then on the back, again, I'll show you this guy. We wanted to show you, I just split up some sedum here. This is lemon coral sedum. This is the PW annual sedum, but it's so easy to split and divide, and I just tucked it in the back. So if you wanted to look at it from this angle, or if you wanted to look at it from this angle, it's up to you, and there's a little party going on in the back there. So needless to say, lots of fall color, fall plants that you can take advantage of. Coral bells would do nicely in containers. Any of the ornamental ivies, this is an oak leaf ivy. Maybe you wanted to try some of the variegated vinca like this one, that's illumination, pansies, violas, other succulents that you could use, but all of them lend themselves really, really nicely to some great fall planters to decorate your porch, your patio, and just enjoy.